What does it mean to be a spiritual person? What does it mean to walk a spiritual path? Let me break it down for you with some visual aids. So on my table here in my reading space, I have a Herkimer diamond. It comes from Herkimer, New York. A lovely piece, and I've had this for almost a decade now while I've been doing this work. And let's say for a moment that this represents your divine soul, the spark of divinity that's broken off from itself to come experience this world. Now, this is your divine soul, made of love, made of that wisdom. It's come here on vacation. I kind of think being born is the great forgetting, dying is the great remembering. But let's use some visual aids. Here's your soul, and here's some tarot cards. Let's say that this tarot card represents your body, your parents, your upbringing, the state you live in, the culture you're brought up in, any religion that you have. Now you go to school, then you have a best friend, then you get traumatized, then you get hurt, then you watch movies, then you read books, then you see commercials. We are nothing but really messed up algebra equations. We are the sum of our parts. This right here represents our ego, our identity, or our id, as some folks call it. Not necessarily a bad thing, but a complicated thing for sure. When you die, you'll no longer be you or your name. You will be the spirit that was once this, wearing that mask. Now, the spiritual path, for me and my understanding, is that we work through this. We understand what our parents did to us, what our religion did to us, what advertisements and movies did to us, what experiences do to us, what our country does to us, all of those things. And then, as we move through them, we understand them. Sometimes we get rid of them. Sometimes we have to learn to live with them, all of that. We get down to the wisdom and the beauty of this. I actually go over a lot of that in this book, The Secret to Life. So secret, down to earth spirituality #1, because we have to keep it down to earth. All right. I gave a reading the other day to a woman who was, one would see her, on paper as being spiritually advanced, worked with native traditions, done all sorts of things all over the world with different spiritualities. She was very spiritually adept, yet she was still very hard on herself. And as I gave her a reading, and my helping spirits came through, and her ancestors and beloved dead and spirits and teachers came through, their biggest issue with her is that she was still telling herself a story about herself to herself she would never want other people to tell themselves. She was still being such an asshole to herself. So all of that spiritual work she'd done, spiritual journeying, spiritual connection, all of that, still wasn't doing anything to really get her through this. Because this, what her parents taught her, what her exes taught her, what a trauma and experiences taught her, boy oh boy, was helping to separate her from this. So, how do we get to this? Well, first, we tell ourselves what we would want other people to tell themselves. For instance, take a regret or a shame or a guilt that you hold. What would you want your sister, your brother, your best friend, your lover, your child, anybody, a stranger in the grocery store to tell themselves about that regret, shame, or guilt? That gets you immediate access to this, and what you're telling yourself is most likely part of this. So consider that for a moment. I want you, and I know your spirits want you, to be at peace. And I inherently believe in the ability for the human being to control the conversation that we have with ourselves. The reason that I do is because I know my spirits watch me, my spirits hear me. I do not want my loved ones in spirit to be upset because I am my own worst enemy. I won't play that game here. So I encourage you to see that perspective in that same way. All my love to you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here for this message from Spirit. And to learn more about me, find my readings, find my podcast, find my books, find me online at joshsimons.com.